Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about another bunch of MMORPGs. Ever since The Elder Scrolls Online got a proper gameplay reveal at QuakeCon, and then EverQuest Next was properly sort of revealed, and then now like all these MMO games have been been getting a lot of attention. I thought it would be the right time to actually compare three of the biggest MMO games that are in development, and most of them should come out by the end of next year at the very latest, so by the end of 2014 I'm assuming. We've just got some gameplay in the background of each game, random gameplay really. Most of it's pretty old, some of it's quite new, but I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm going to be talking about which one suits you. I doubt there's going to be anyone out there getting all three, especially if they sort of come out at the same time, because all three of them are very, very different games. They're not, the exact same MMOs. They all have completely different sort of styles. They all are MMOs, except they all do sort of play very differently. But today I wanted to sort of talk about which one suits what sort of person. Pretty much, for me, this is when MMOs are going to start getting good again. They haven't been good for a while, so hopefully this is going to be the start of a new sort of era. So I thought I'd just start by talking about the business models, because this affects a lot of people. A lot of people really hate certain business models. So I'll go through them. This is so far what I know. Wildstar, I'm assuming it's going to be buy to play, which means no monthly subscription, but you pay for the box. EverQuest Next looks like it's going to be a free to play game, so everyone can play it for free. And Elder Scrolls Online, I'm assuming it's going to be buy to play. It might have a monthly subscription, but so far of what I know, that's the business models. A lot of gamers hate pay to play. A lot of them absolutely love it. It really just depends on the person. And talk about the developers, three amazing developers. We've got three quite experienced developers. ZeniMax are actually owned by Bethesda, so Elder Scrolls Online is a massive project. EverQuest Next, Sony, Wildstar, I believe it's Bungie, and all three of these companies are really good, and they all listen to their fans, and they all sort of really interact with the fans, which is great. I particularly like Bungie because they're really sort of comical the way they go about their sort of game. They really often refer to their game in a joking manner, which is hilarious. But let's start with gameplay of each game, because this is really a big point in each game, obviously. So here's where you see the big difference with these three games. None of them have the same gameplay. They're very different, all three of them. So Elder Scrolls Online, pretty much of what I've seen, it's Skyrim Online. You can't really say that it's anything more than that, really, of what we've seen so far. Besides the fact that you actually have sort of moves that you can use, it really is just Skyrim Online in the way the game looks so far. The combat looks very, very familiar in a pretty good way, I suppose. Although the gameplay and what we've seen isn't very refined as of yet, because it is early sort of beta stages. It does look quite cluggy at times. But in terms of the combat, it does very much look like Skyrim. Other sort of gameplay things, it definitely has a big sort of exploring parts of the game. A lot of gamers that like sort of exploring and don't sort of like just walking on the path or whatever it is. This game will attract a lot of those kind of gamers. There's so many zones, and there's so much lore behind this game, and so many races and classes to choose from. Well, actually only 4 classes, except there's a lot you can do with those classes. For example, each class can use every single weapon in the game, which means you have this awesome variety in what you want to actually play with. All voice acted, everything in this game is voice acted, so there's no just, massive walls of text, which is always good. A lot of PvP, this game really has a big sort of PvP influence on it. So that pretty much sums up the gameplay for Elder Scrolls Online. I'll get into it a bit more later, but let's move on to Wildstar. So Wildstar, it is a very sort of different gameplay sort of theme, I suppose you could say. When you look at the game, it does not look anything like the Elder Scrolls Online, the way it plays out. A lot of dodging, a lot of movement. The way you're playing, you're constantly jumping around and dodging. A little bit kind of like Ratchet and Clank for some reason, it sort of reminds me of. And a few other sort of games like that. It's got this really sort of arcadey kind of look to it, which I actually really like. It's really fast-paced combat. You're constantly moving around. Doesn't really take itself too seriously, you'll notice the game. It also too, as most MMOs these days, they all sort of reward exploration, but this game does as well. There's 4 different sort of paths you can take, I believe. Scientist, explorer, then there's like soldier, and one other thing, maybe engineer or something like that. All 4 of them have their own sort of little thing, so once again, it sort of just adapts to the sort of player, which is a sort of ongoing theme, an ongoing sort of trend with MMOs these days. They all want to sort of have their gamers choose how they want to play the game. And anyway, there is a bit of building to a very sort of lower degree than a lot of other games. Obviously, it is an MMO, so you wouldn't expect too much, but there is player housing, which I know a lot of people love. A lot of PvP. Apparently, the PvP is epic in this game. There's dungeons, and apparently there's massive raids. So that kind of sums up, not really to be honest, it was a pretty average job. But anyway, it sort of sums up Wildstar. Let's move on to the game that was only revealed 3 or 4 days ago, EverQuest Next. So, I've been extremely impressed by this game so far. It is early days, however, I am quite excited for this game out of all these titles, especially because it's free to play. I mean, that is awesome. I'm pretty sure every MMO fan will be getting this game for sure, because it's free. Not yet sure on combat. We haven't seen too much, like enough to sort of say whether the combat looks good or not. I can't, give an opinion on that just yet. There is completely destructible environments, which is cool in an MMO, but it is unusual. However, I really like the idea of it, and the way it works seems really cool. There's a lot of class options. I think there's 8 or so default classes you can choose from, but then you can really expand from there. And as I've said before in this video, you can really choose the way you want to play, which is great. Lots of exploring in this game. This game really likes that theme in every MMO these days is exploring, but there's a lot of exploration in this game. For me, one of the coolest things about this game is the parkour. You constantly are jumping and sliding over things instead of constantly needing to kind of, go around things. I hated in games like World of Warcraft. I know it's old, but, there'd be a very small mountain and somehow your player couldn't just jump over it or something. It was really annoying. Sorry, not a mountain, you guys know what I mean, like a rock or something. If it was a mountain and you could jump over it, then I'd be a little bit worried, but I am getting a little bit sidetracked here. The next awesome thing about EverQuest Next, which is kind of a weird name, I know. I don't think that's its official name as of yet. But the next awesome thing I love about this game is the building. This is one of the things that makes it very different to every MMO ever made. This is kind of like Minecraft in some ways. It's really, really unusual to see this in an MMO. And for me, it's really exciting as well that they're really sort of trying something new. You can actually completely build stuff in this game, like you could in Minecraft, except it's even more advanced. You can place objects, and then you can, make them, really, sort of personalize them, which for me is awesome. I really like the idea of that, and that's something that we've never seen before, and that's really exciting to see. So moving on to visuals, we'll talk about this very quickly. I don't want to bore you guys here. Elder Scrolls Online, very, very low UI. The gamers that liked Skyrim, you'll look at this game and think, this is pretty much Skyrim UI. Very similar. There's not much going on besides a compass and your health and stuff like that when you're attacking. It's very, very minimalistic. Similar engine to Skyrim, you'll see the graphics aren't amazing. However, it is a massive world and you can't make amazing graphics in a world this big. It does look pretty good. It pretty much looks a lot like Skyrim. Moving on to Wildstar, very, very cartoony. This game isn't meant to be photorealistic by any means. Quite a large UI. There's a lot going on. There's a map, there's your action bar. There's just a lot going on, which a lot of people, I realize, probably don't like. But however, I do know that there are a lot of other people out there who do like large UIs. EverQuest Next. This is quite cartoony. A lot of people have been complaining about that. Personally, I don't really mind. As long as the game is fun. Animations and the graphics, they all look really good. When I watched a few of the videos, I was really impressed by the way it looks. The debris as well all looks really good. Like when you're destroying stuff, it looks really good. So that's a really good sign. Let's quickly go over what each game actually has going for it and what sort of players will actually sort of suit each game. Elder Scrolls Online, this is pretty much Skyrim Online. If you enjoyed Skyrim, you will pretty much like this game because it is Skyrim except with friends, so that's always good. I'm sure a lot of people are going to love that idea of it. Lore, if people like the Elder Scrolls lore, which personally I don't know that much about, they will probably love this game. Awesome PvP in the Elder Scrolls Online. It's obviously good to play with your friends, and it's all voice acted. Those are sort of some sort of features about this game that some gamers will like. Wildstar, there's always a lot to do in this game. Despite the sort of casual theme, there's always, dungeons, raiding, PvP, all this sort of stuff. There's a lot to do in Wildstar, and despite what sort of player you are, what sort of an MMO player you are, there's always stuff to do in it. It's quite a comical game. That's, for me, I don't like an MMO that takes itself too seriously, and that's what I kind of like about Wildstar. It's very, very sort of laid back and casual about the actual game. It's fun, it's fast paced, there's a lot of sort of dynamic combat where you're constantly moving, which is great. That's definitely a good thing for gamers that are quite sort of casual, I suppose. They don't want a game where they're, you know, just constantly kind of having to rely on, you know, tactic and stuff like that. This game seems a lot more kind of easier to sort of pick up if you're not all that good at MMOs. As for EverQuest Next, well, it's free to play. I mean, is there really much more I need to say? Everyone loves free to play, so that is already a big sort of attraction to most gamers out there. Next awesome thing about it is it's like a sandbox game. There's so much building and there's so much exploration and exploring and all that stuff, so you'll constantly be interested, especially if you're a sort of guy who likes, I know this sounds weird, but like Minecraft or something, because there is a lot of building in it, which is great. The sort of gamers that would like each game, I mean, for Elder Scrolls Online, I think that's sort of more for the kind of hardcore MMO fans in general. You know, I know I'm generalizing this. You know, a lot of PvP fans, a lot of Skyrim fans, because it is very similar to Skyrim. But with Wildstar, it's kind of more casual, sort of laid back. Any sort of MMO player could probably pick this game up and enjoy it. I think Guild Wars 2 fans would enjoy Wildstar as well, because there are a lot of the similar sort of aspects in the sort of combat where you're constantly moving and there's a lot of exploration, a lot to sort of find and see, which is awesome. EverQuest Next, I think this appeals to pretty much any MMO player because it's free to play. Obviously EverQuest fans will love this game, probably Minecraft fans probably like this game. Just in general, I think a lot of people are gonna like EverQuest just because it's free and everyone loves free games. So I know I might have been rambling on by the end there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I kind of helped you come up with the game that you think you want to get. It's really hard. Personally, it's like you have to choose one. I don't know why I'm making it out to be like that. But personally, I think the game right now that I'm most excited for is EverQuest Next. Although I haven't seen enough of this game, so I probably can't give a full opinion of it. Elder Scrolls Online, I haven't been that impressed, honestly, by the gameplay that's been revealed yet. Wildstar, I don't know, I still haven't made my mind up on it yet, but let me know what game you guys are thinking about getting, or games. Which one are you most and least excited for? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later.